The eighth most common question asked by a non-Muslim is that why does Islam permit a Muslim to have non-veg food? Killing animal is a ruthless act. So why does Islam permit a Muslim to have non-vegetarian food? I would like to mention at the outset that a Muslim can be a very good Muslim even by being a pure vegetarian. There's no verse in the Quran, the Hadith that says it's compulsory for the Muslim to have non-veg food. But since the Quran and our Creator Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have given permission for the human beings to have non-veg, why should we not have? The Quran says in Surah Ma'idah, chapter number 5, verse number 1, Ya ayyuhallazina amanu, O you believe, fulfill your obligations and eat of the four-footed animals with the exception named. Eat of the meat of the four-footed animals with the exception named. Quran says in Surah Nahl, chapter number 16, verse number 5, we have created for you cattle, and from it you derive warmth and many benefits, and of the meat you can eat. Quran says in Surah Mu'minun, chapter number 23, verse number 21, that verily in the cattle is an instructive sign for you. We give you to drink from what is within the bodies, and you derive many benefits from them, and of their meat you can eat. So when Quran has given permission to have the meat of the lawful animals, then why should we Muslims not have it? Let's analyze the scientific as well as the logical reasons for having non-veg food. Today science tells us that in non-vegetarian food, it is a wholesome food. It's rich in protein. And the body requires amino acid. There are 8 amino acids which are not created in the body. It has to be given by the external diet. It's known as essential amino acids. Only in the flesh food do you have all the 8 essential amino acids. Therefore, the meat is called as a complete protein. There is no vegetarian food which has all the essential amino acids in it. Furthermore, meat is rich in niacin, vitamin B, and it's a wholesome food. There are many non-Muslims, especially the Hindus, they say that why do Muslims have non-veg? Indians, besides India, they're present throughout the world, 20% population of the world. You go to any part in the world, USA, Canada, UK, Dubai, you'll find Indians there. So it has become a common question throughout the world. If you analyze the set of teeth of the herbivorous animals, cow, goat, sheep, they only have vegetables. If you see the set of teeth, they have a flat set of teeth called as herbivorous set of teeth. If we analyze the set of teeth of the carnivorous animals who only have flesh food, lion, tiger, leopard, they have pointed set of teeth. They have the canine set of teeth. If you analyze the set of teeth of the human beings, if you go in the mirror and see, we have flat teeth as well as pointed teeth. If Almighty God wanted us to have only vegetables, why did He give us the pointed teeth, the canine teeth? For what? To have non-veg. Furthermore, if we analyze the digestive system of the herbivorous animals, cow, goat, sheep, they can only digest vegetables. If they take flesh food, they will not be able to digest it. If we analyze the digestive system of the carnivorous animals, the tiger, the leopard, the lion, they can only digest flesh food. They cannot digest vegetables. But the digestive system of the human beings can digest veg food as well as non-veg food. If Almighty God wanted us to have only vegetables, why did He give us a digestive system which can even digest non-veg food? But natural to have it. We have a small intestine as well as a large intestine for having both veg food and non-veg food. We are neither herbivorous, neither carnivorous, we are omnivorous. And many of the Hindus have a misconception that Hinduism prohibits a human being from having non-veg food. If you read the scriptures of the Hindus, in several scriptures, several places says that sages, saints had non-veg food. If you read Manusmriti, chapter number 5, verse number 30, it says that the eater, if he eats the flesh of the thing which is to be eaten, then it is good, even if he does it day after day, because God has created some to be eaten and some to become eater. When you read Manusmriti chapter number 5 verse number 31, it says that eating meat in sacrifice is not a sin. It is the law of the gods. It's mentioned in Manusmriti chapter number 5, verse number 39 as well as 40, that God created sacrificial animals. So killing animals in sacrifice is not considered as killing. Furthermore, when you read Mahabharata, Anushasan Parv, chapter number 88, regarding the Pandavas, the 5 brothers, the eldest brother Yudhishthir, he asks Bhishma that while they were doing puja, yagna for the ancestors, he asks Bhishma that what should we give in puja, in yagna, so that our ancestors will be satisfied. So Bhishma replies that if you put in the puja herbs, vegetables and fruits, the ancestors will be satisfied for 1 month. If you give fish, 2 months. If you give meat, 3 months. If you give hair, 4 months. If you give meat of the goat, 5 months. If you give bacon, meat of the pig, 6 months. If you give birds, 7 months. If you give deer, 8 months. And the menu continues. If you give a buffalo, 11 months. And if you give cow, our ancestors will be satisfied for 1 full year. That is beef. And if you give rhinoceros meat or red meat of goat, our ancestors will be satisfied inexhaustibly. There's a big menu, imagine, vegetables, fish, meat, hair, everything is there in the menu. So if you read the Hindu scriptures, it was permitted to have non-veg. It is later on, when the Hindus were being influenced by other non-Hindus and tried to take their philosophy, that they converted and tried to make the religion into vegetarianism, though all Hindus aren't vegetarians. Now when we ask these people that why are you a vegetarian, they tell us that killing animal is a sin, because killing living creatures is a sin. So I said, I agree with you. If a person can live without killing living creatures, I'm with you. Today science tells us that even the plants have got life. Previously people did not know that plants and vegetables had life. So now the logic has changed. No, we understand, we realize plants have got life, but plants can't feel pain. Therefore killing animal is a bigger sin as compared to killing a plant. Now science has further advanced and we have come to know that even the plants can feel pain. Though we cannot hear the cry of the plant, but even the plants can feel pain. They don't have a very well-developed system, but they can feel pain. And there was a research done in America that a farmer had made a gadget where you could make the cry of the plant be heard to the human ear. Because the human ear only hears between 20 cycles to 20,000 cycles per second. Anything below and above this, the human being can't hear. Like this is below 20 cycles, I can't hear. If I do fast, I can hear because it's above 20 cycles. You know, the dogs, they can hear up to 40,000 cycles per second. So you may have heard about the silent dog whistle. You blow the whistle, the frequency is between 20,000 and 40,000 cycles per second. The human beings can't hear, the dog hears and comes to the master. So the cry of the plant cannot be heard by the human being. So there was a research done in America where a farmer makes a gadget, and whenever the plant wanted more water, it would cry out, he used to convert the cry and he could hear it. So today, science tells us that even the plants can feel pain. So now, there is a non-Muslim who argued with Maxim and said, okay, Brother Zakir, I agree with you, the plants have got life, the plants can feel pain. But you know, plants have got about 2 senses less as compared to animals. Animals have got 5 senses, plants have got 3 senses. So I say, okay, for sake of argument, I agree with you. The plants have got 3 senses, animal has got 5 senses. So I asked him the question that suppose if you have a brother who's born deaf and dumb, and if someone comes and kills him, will you go and tell the judge, me Lord, give this murderer less punishment because my brother had 2 senses less? In fact, you'll go and tell the judge, give this murderer double punishment. My brother was masoom, could not hear, could not speak. Give him double punishment. So where is the logic, 2 senses less, so less punishment? In Islam, it does not work 2 senses less or 2 senses more. Quran says in Surah Baqarah chapter 2 verse number 168, eat of the things which are good and halal for you. What is permitted and what is good you can have. So what is halal, what is lawful, and what is permitted and what is good you can have. As far as non-Muslims who are against eating non-veg, if I agree that fine, we should not kill any animals, the population of the cattle, it grows so fast that if we stop eating animals, there will be overpopulation of cattle in the world. Now we have overpopulation of human beings in some countries, India, China. We'll have problems with overpopulation of cattle. And personally, if non-Muslims don't have non-veg, I've got no problem. Believe me, I've got no problem. Because if in India, all the non-Muslims start having non-veg, then maybe the price of mutton and beef will go up. So for me, no problem. If they don't have non-veg, I've got no problem. But if someone tells me that eating non-veg is haram, it's a sin, that's the time I give all this logical explanation. The 9th most common misconception asked is that non-Muslims say, we don't have any problem that Muslims have non-veg food, but why do the Muslims slaughter the animals so ruthlessly? Zabiha, slowly you torture and kill the animal slowly and steadily. You are ruthless people. So once there was a Muslim who was having an argument with a Sikh. In India we have Sikhs, those who wear the turban. So the Sikh was telling, you Muslims are ruthless, you are merciless. Why do you torture the animal? One jhatka, fatak, an animal dies. So the Muslim told him that you Sikhs, you all are cowards. You all attack the animal from behind. We are mard ka bacha, we are masher, we attack from the front. This is his hikmah. This is not the reason why we do zabiha. It is his hikmah. He had no argument, so he said, we are mard ka bacha, masher. We attack from the front. You all are cowards, we attack from behind. The real logical scientific reason is that why do we do zabiha? Why do we slaughter in the Islamic method? In the Islamic method of slaughtering, the knife should be very sharp. It should be swift, so animals feel the least pain. Secondly, we cut the throat, the windpipe, and the vessels of the neck without damaging the spinal cord. If the spinal cord is damaged, the nerve going to the heart can be severed, there can be cardiac arrest. That is the reason the spinal cord should not be cut. We only cut the throat, the windpipe and the vessels of the neck and let the heart beat. When the heart beats, majority of the blood flows out of the body of the animal. Today science tells us that blood is a very good medium of germs, bacteria and toxins. So when we let the blood flow out of the animal's body, what are we doing? We are cleansing the animal. We are removing the germs, bacteria and toxins. It's more hygienic. Furthermore, an animal slaughtered by the Islamic method of zabiyah remains fresh for a longer time as compared to an animal slaughtered by the stunning method. Because there's less blood in the animal, it remains fresh for a longer time. Furthermore, people have a misconception. People think that in the Islamic method of slaughtering, the animal dies of pain. Today science tells us that when we slaughter, when we cut the throat, the windpipe and the vessels of the neck, the nerve supply going to the brain is also cut, which is responsible for feeling of pain. So the animal does not die of pain, the animal dies a peaceful death. Unlike in stunning, many a time the animal dies after hours together. So the Islamic method is the most peaceful method. And the animal dies a peaceful death. The animal kicks and writhers, not because of pain, because the muscles are contracting and relaxing so that the blood can flow out of the body. Animal writhers because of the flow of blood, not because of pain. So the Islamic method of slaughtering is the most hygienic and the best and the humane way of killing. The 10th most common question is, or the misconception about Islam is, that non-Muslims, many of them say, you Muslims, you eat animals and you behave like animals, violent and ferocious. You Muslims, you all have non-veg food and you behave like animals, violent and ferocious. I have to agree. Today science does tell us that what you eat has an effect on your behavior. And I agree with them, that what you eat has an effect on our behavior. That's the reason we Muslims, we are not allowed to eat ferocious and violent animals like tiger, leopard, lion, which are ferocious. We are only allowed to eat the peaceful animals like cow, goat, sheep, because we are peace-loving. The herbivores animals, the peaceful, we say Allah mein ki gaay hai, in Hindi we say. We are only allowed to eat the peaceful animals, the cattle. Quran says in Surah Araf, chapter number 7, verse number 157, the Prophet commands you that which is just and prohibits you that which is evil. He allows you that which is lawful and good and prohibits you that which is bad and impure. Allah repeats the message in Surah Hashr, chapter 59, verse number 7. Take what the Prophet assigns to you and abstain from that which the Prophet prohibits to you. So whatever Allah and His Rasul prohibit, we Muslim abstain from it. And there are various Sahih Hadith in Bukhari, in Muslim, Ibn Majah, that speak about the prohibition of these violent animals, these carnivorous animals. It's mentioned in Sahih Muslim, in the book of hunting and slaughtering, Hadith number 4752. Also in Ibn Majah, chapter number 13, Hadith number 3232 and 3234. The various types of food that the Prophet has prohibited. Amongst them is animals that have carnivorous set of teeth, the carnivorous animals that belong to the cat family, like lion, tiger, cat, dog, wolf, hyenas, all these are prohibited. Certain rodents like mice, rats, rabbits with claws, certain reptiles like snakes, alligators, all these are prohibited. The Prophet also prohibited birds which have talons and claws, like vultures, eagles, crow, owls, etc. All these are prohibited. Due to time limitations, I'll just give the reply to one more misconception or one more common question. Then we can have the common questions from this audience, inshallah. At least I'm touching more than 50%. The 13th most common question today, according to me, is that why does Islam prohibit a Muslim from eating pork, the flesh of swine? The answer to this question is, Quran says in no less than 4 different places. In Surah Baqarah, chapter number 2, verse number 173. Surah Ma'idah, chapter 5, verse number 3. Surah An'am, chapter 6, verse number 145. And Surah Nahl, chapter 16, verse 115. Hurrimat alaykumul maytatu waddamu walahmul khinzir. Wama uhilla li ghayrillah bi. Forbidden for you for food are dead meat, blood, the flesh of swine, and any food on which any name besides Allah's name is taken. So there are no less than 4 different places where it says that eating the flesh of swine is prohibited. Quran says that, we Muslims believe. This prohibition is also mentioned in the Jewish and the Christian scriptures. It's mentioned in the book of Leviticus, chapter number 11, verse number 7 and 8. The flesh of swine is unclean. Though it has cloven foot and divided hoof, it chews not the cud. Its flesh is unclean. Thou shalt not eat its flesh, nor touch its carcass. That means the Bible says eating the flesh of swine is prohibited, even touching it is prohibited. The same message repeated in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter number 14, verse number 8, that the swine, though it has divided hoof, it chews not the cud. Its flesh is unclean for you, its carcass should not be touched. The same message repeated in the book of Isaiah, chapter number 65, verse number 2 to 5, that you should not have the flesh of swine. So according to the Jewish scriptures and the Christian scriptures, eating pork is prohibited. If you read the Hindu scriptures, even in Hindu scriptures, eating pork is prohibited. It's mentioned in Manusmriti that a Brahmin, a twice born, should not eat cock or onion or dung heap pig. It further mentions Vishnu Sutra. Anyone who sells the meat, the forbidden meat, that is pork, you should chop off the opposite hands and limbs. Punishment. It's not there in the Quran and Hadith, Hindu scriptures. Chopping off the hands if you sell pork. Let us analyze what are the logical reasons. So according to the religious scriptures, whether it be Christianity, Judaism, Hinduism, Islam, it's clearly mentioned in all these scriptures that eating the flesh of swine is prohibited. Let us analyze what are the logical reasons and scientific reasons for the prohibition of eating of pork. Today, medical science tells us that if a person has pork, he has chances of having no less than 70 different diseases. Pinworm, roundworm, hookworm, you name it, it is there. Many helminths. One of the most dangerous helminths is called as Tinea solium. Tinea solium, in layman's terminology, it is tapeworm. And it harbors in the intestine. It's very long. And the eggs, the ova, via the bloodstream, can enter different organs of the body. If it goes to the brain, it can cause memory loss. If it goes to the eye, it can cause blindness. If it goes to the heart, it can cause heart attack. If it goes to the liver, it can cause liver damage. It can damage almost all the organs of the body. And by the time you realize you're suffering from this Tinea solium, it's already too late. The other dangerous diseases, if a person has pork, is Trichuria trichuriasis. And many people have a misconception that when you cook your food very well, these helminths die. According to a research, out of 24 people suffering from Trichuria trichuriasis, 22 have cooked the food well. That means the food that you cook in your house, the normal temperature you reach cannot kill the germs and bacteria and the ova that are there in the pork. There are various other reasons why a person should not have pork. Today, science tells us that eating pork has got fat-building material. It has very little muscle-building material. Because of the fat-building material, person has high chances of having hypertension, atherosclerosis, heart attacks. That's the reason more than 50% of the Americans, they suffer from hypertension because most of them are pig eaters. Today we know that one of the most filthiest animals on the face of the earth is the pig. Wherever you find feces, muck, filth, you'll find the pig there. It is the most dirtiest animal. Some people say, in certain countries like Australia, I know, they breed the pig very well, very hygienic. I tell them, even in Australia, in the sty, the pigs are kept together. The pig, when it excretes, it eats its own excreta. So do you have man 24 hours manning wherever he excretes, he picks up the excreta? No. So even in Australia, the pig is dirty. It's one of the most filthiest animals. And one more reason I can think of besides many is that today science tells us pig is the most shameless animal on the face of the earth. It's the only animal that invites its friends to see when it's having sex with its mate. When the pig is having sex with its mate, it invites its friends to see him having sex with the mate. In America, modern society, they have dance parties. After the dance parties, they are swapping of wives. You sleep with my wife, I sleep with your wife. You eat pigs, you behave like pigs. Due to limitation of time, I will not be able to complete all the 20 common questions, but you're most welcome to go to the website www.irf.net and get all the answers in details. I would like to leave the rest of the time for the open question answer session. I'd like to end the speech with the verse of the Quran of Surah Isra, chapter number 17, verse number 81, which says, وَقُلْ جَاءَ الْحَقُّ وَزَاقَ الْبَاطِلِ إِنَّ الْبَاطِلَ كَانَ زَهُوقًا. When truth is hurled against falsehood, falsehood perisheth. For falsehood is by its nature bound to perish. وَآخِرُ دَعْوَانَا الْحَمْدُ لِلَّهِ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ.